from the beautiful Isle of Mallorca.
Welcome to the GCN show.
Hello and welcome to the GCN show.
Coming up this week, how did Ollie beat another Tour de France champion in a race? We hear from the man himself, what's happened in the aftermath and what is coming next.
Or should that be who's next? We've also got cycling's first metaverse event, a nail in the coffin of the front derailleur, a UCI ban we support, and video footage of Cy crashing that he wishes we don't have.
I really wish.
But we do.
This week in the world of cycling, we learned that 3T have collaborated with Lamborghini to create a limited edition Exploro gravel bike, which only costs $15,000.
Only,
yeah. Now the bike does look nice, but honestly, the big news for me was that Lamborghini have apparently created a gravel car, the Huracan Storato. Frankly, Conor, I think it's a lesson in how cycling should have marketed gravel bikes from the beginning. An off-road superbike, not a family SUV.
We also learned this week that Cy has still got it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Here he is in cyclocross mode at the World Masters Championships at the weekend. It's a bit embarrassing, isn't it, mate? What happened? Your ankle's a bit heavy to get over the plank.
Look,
weighing
Conor,
it down.
It is a tricky sport, right? Matthew van der Poel crashed on Saturday.
Yeah, but that looked like a really tricky corner, Cy.
No, it didn't.
So technical.
No, it wasn't. And look,
God.
Wout van Aert came a cropper on the barriers on Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah, that's painful.
Yeah, that's painful. That one's painful. Who did it better though? Wout, who was at least trying to bunny hop them, but ended up on his face, or Cy, who couldn't even jump 30 centimetres on his feet, but at least stayed upright.
At least stayed upright. Yeah, all right. Who did it better, me or Wout? Let us know in the comment section.
Was your bike right?
Thankfully, yes, it was.
That's the important thing.
Now, the video of the rest of that race will be out this weekend, by the way, so stay tuned. Now, big news here at GCN HQ last week, and worldwide, in fact, if we're honest, was that Ollie Bridgewood had taken the scalp of yet another Tour de France champion. Alberto Contador in the Swiss Alps in 2021.
Geraint Thomas in his dad's shed in Cardiff in 2022.
Yeah, we know Ollie is in good shape at the moment, don't we? But seriously, how has he done that?
In this exclusive interview, we'll find out.
I'm surprised that I managed to beat Geraint. No, not really. Although I am surprised at how easy it was. Must be going better than I thought. And of course, we had our team tactics. We went for a sort of, more of a quick step approach of trying to send riders up the road to springboard future attacks rather than the, Ineos Grenadiers special of just setting an uncomfortable tempo and gradually dropping their rivals one by one. I mean, I would have been up for that, obviously, but my domestiques wouldn't have been capable of delivering what I needed from them. Anyway, after a flurry of attacks, it was my turn. So with 6 kilometres to go, I dropped the hammer and employed an aero power-up for good measure. I think I caught Geraint napping, but after I'd dropped my massive Watt bomb, there was no way he was bringing me back. He did say that he was on a recovery day and that he had a sore throat, but we all know that's just cycling excuses 101. I didn't give any excuses, but the day before, I'd been in the gym on leg day and I hadn't even lubed my chain and my brakes were rubbing.
Well, the first I heard of it was on Friday evening when my phone just lit up. All World Tour team managers, it was Lefebvre, then Brailsford, Vorters, even Whitey got involved. And I thought they were just going to ask about how my ankle recovery was going, but it turns out they want Ollie Bridgewood's name and signature on the dotted line of a team contract. When I first signed an agent's contract with Ollie a couple of years ago for 25% of all future earnings before tax, I wasn't expecting to make much money. I considered dropping him, but I'm definitely not going to drop him now. This could be quite lucrative. That said, the one phone call I was expecting that hasn't arrived yet was from Sven Nys. I just assumed that after Cy's performance at the UCI World Masters Cyclocross Championships on Sunday and that display of skill, he'd be on the phone straight away, but I'm still waiting. Strange.
Nah, seriously, can we just say how much of a legend G is? We all completely worked him over on his recovery day, and he was still speaking to us at the end. He even helped carry the kicker out back to the car when we drove home. How many World Tour riders would do that, let alone Tour de France champions? And all the more impressive when you consider, well, that he managed to keep the gap down to 12 seconds without even getting out of zone 2 when I was trying my absolute hardest. I mean, I would say that he hadn't even broken a sweat, but, well, that clearly wasn't the case. In all honesty, though, I'm not sure what my goal is for next year. Maybe drop Pogačar. Although he would probably have to be on a rest day, feeling unwell, riding the Eurobike. Still counts, though.
Fair play, Ollie. I loved seeing the frosty exchange at the end of that. I don't think Geraint Thomas was expecting it, so make sure you check that video out if you haven't seen it already. But frankly, I think we all want a rematch.
We want a rematch. We want to see it. Right, cycling shorts now, though, starting with the news that the UCI have banned more stuff.
Yay!
Of particular interest is Article 1.3.012 of the clarification guide of the UCI technical regulations, which pertains to the overall dimensions of a bike, specifically narrow handlebars.
Banning narrow handlebars?
Yeah.
Well, genuinely, yay! Yeah.
Well, don't get too excited. The rules now state that the distance between outside of bars can be no less than 350 mil. However, it appears the positions, including the likes of Taco van der Hoorn, which you may have seen at the Tour de France this year, will be allowed. That's due to the fact that the measurement is taken from the outside of the bars.
Okay.
So if you have your hoods angled in and they're still really narrow, you can kind of get away with it. It seems like there's a bit of a workaround going on.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure what the UCI have banned then. Frankly, though, maybe it's because I'm getting old, but I really wish they'd banned that silly narrow position with the hoods turned in, because it's offensive to cycling aesthetics.
Maybe it's because, like the rest of us, the UCI are baffled at how different handlebars are measured, and there's a complete lottery as to whether it's centre to centre, edge to edge, drops or hoods. Anyway, we'll await further clarification from the UCI on that one.
Okay, all right, well, moving on. Mark Cavendish is still without a team for next year after further bad news on the future of B&B Hotels, who he was set to join in 2023.
The general manager has told contracted riders in the past week to look for other options, as a sponsor still hasn't been found to carry the squad at this late stage.
No, the likes of Raymond Sinkeldam, who was also contracted with B&B, has already found himself an alternative team for 2023 in the form of Alpecin de Koning, and it seems others are on the hunt too.
Cavendish's whereabouts for next year are still unknown, but personally, I would love to see him secure a squad and, see him capable of riding the Tour. He deserves a crack at that all-time stage win record.
Yeah, he has got to be worth a punt, at least, hasn't he? Right, next up, a little bit of tech news. So some of you will know about Classified, the brand behind the 2-speed rear hub that has the potential to kill the front derailleur. We had a first look at the tech a few years ago, and we were really impressed, actually.
It was announced last week that they have just raised €23 million. Now, we wouldn't normally report on fundraising because very often investors are not the best judges when it comes to bike tech. However, the Classified hub is really impressive, and their issue is that they're trying to take on the might of Shimano, SRAM and Campagnolo, none of whom are likely to be very interested in giving up their slice of the group set pie without a struggle.
The group set pie, that's right, something we all want a piece of. Now, is 23 million enough to give Classified the foothold they need? I will be interested to see how this one pans out, frankly.
More tech now, from mechanical to virtual. The Fast and Furious Track Champions League series concluded with a spectacular doubleheader at the London Velodrome at the weekend.
That's right, if you missed the action, you can of course catch up on GCN Plus over on the GCN app. But in addition to the racing last weekend, there was also the launch of the new Track Champions League Metaverse.
There's a lot of chat about the Metaverse.
Yes.
No one really knows what it is other than the future. But Track Champions League have partnered up with a company called Infinite Reality to create a virtual space to bring a new dimension to watching sports. The idea being, I think, is to have a more interactive experience, bringing the action together with the rider, telemetry, watching with friends, interacting with the athletes.
Yeah, it promises an awful lot actually, and I think the idea is that it's there to bring more fans into the sport. Now, I will look forward to seeing how this one pans out as well, quite frankly.
Talking of bringing more fans to sport, put an alert in your calendars for next Tuesday, the Zwift Academy Finals to 2022 is finally here.
Yes!
We'll have an episode per day from Tuesday to Saturday.
Yeah, now last year we had loads of people saying they've been watching with their non-cyclist friends and loved ones as well. So make it an event this year. It is going to be another absolute cracker. Whilst also on News of Zwift, by the way, remember they've got their pro training camps running at the moment. So they've partnered up with 4 World Tour teams. They've got a series of workouts in association with the pros. Some of them you can even do with the pros themselves. So if you check out Zwift's website, for details of who's training when. Jonas Vingegaard is tonight, so be quick. And Annemiek van Vleuten, meanwhile, is on December the 15th.
We'll finish cycling shorts with sad news about David Rebellin. The Italian rider called time on his incredible 30-year career as a professional cyclist just 2 months ago. But last week was killed by a truck driver whilst out riding.
Yeah, it's a real tragedy, isn't
Yeah.
it? And it's made almost worse, I think, by the timing of it, which seems particularly cruel. Now, I'll admit, after Rebellin tested positive for EPO after the Beijing Olympics, I struggled a bit with the length of his career, but it was put into perspective by an eloquent tweet from Daniel Freed, the cycling journalist. In essence, he said, you probably couldn't find another rider with such a genuine joy for riding his bike.
He amassed a huge palmares over the years, but will be most famous for his exploits in the Ardennes Classics, including landing the rare triple, the Amstel Gold, Le Flèche-Wallonne and Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
Yeah, in the same week, no less. Anyway, Davide Rebellin, ride in peace. It is always tough coming back to the GCN show after paying tribute to a fallen rider, but it is time, as always, for hack/Bodge of the week. Who is up first, Conor?
First up, we've got Mark Beaumont with some wreath making. Mark Beaumont.
As
the
in-
Mark Beaumont.
The Mark Beaumont
The Mark
has
Beaumont.
been wreath making.
He's been wreath making. I know, I was a bit confused at first myself.
I didn't think he had it in him.
Well, I'm thinking potentially he's made 1,000 of them, for 72 hours straight.
Oh, turned it into an endurance exercise.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, they look lovely.
They do look very nice, don't they?
Maybe when Mark's knocking around our offices, we should get him to do some other kind of like flower arranging and stuff like that. That'd be really cool.
Maybe some embroidery,
Yeah.
sewing.
That'd be brilliant. Mark, if you're watching, if you'd like to send us one of your Christmas wreaths, we'd absolutely hang it on the GCN
Oh, brilliant
Wall
idea.
of Shame with
Yeah.
pride. Yeah, absolutely we would. So yeah, cool.
I mean, it's got to be a hack.
It's 100% a
It's a
hack.
hack, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
can't argue
absolutely.
that.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Amazing. Well done, Mark. Right then, next up, we've got this from Abby Shaffi. Something
Oh my
to
gosh.
make you ponder. Yes, this just came up on my Facebook feed. Knowing how much you hate cable ties, and yes, I know it's not bike related, but it made me smile, so that's good enough for me. That is an absolute, I'd like to say that's a car crash of a bodge, and it literally might be a car crash waiting to happen. You cannot zip tie your suspension back together, no matter how industrial they look and how many there are.
That is a lot of cable ties. I mean, there's enough cable ties there to secure a fully grown whale to a harbour.
I bet it'd be quite slippery trying to secure a whale with a zip tie.
It would be quite tough, but I think if you got a bit of rubber around and you've got a bit of grip, I think it would hold.
You have like a narrow bit between the tail and the body. Yeah, okay. Anyway,
Might pull the harbour away with it.
yeah, might. I mean,
Strong
that goes
beasts.
without saying that is just 100% bodge. It's also time consuming, that,
But
isn't
if
it?
it works,
No, mate.
might work.
I mean, if it's a get yourself home roadside hack, fine. But no, I'm sorry, we've got to say that's a bodge.
The skill that's gone into putting those on.
The trouble is, right,
How do you get those on? I mean, that's a good time investment.
at least if you're going to bodge a bit of bike that snaps, you probably injure yourself a bit, and that's your luck, isn't it? Or lack of. But if you start bodging a car that breaks, particularly like a bit of something integral like a wheel, and then that breaks, and then you just like swerve across the road and take a pedestrian out or a cyclist, you've got to think about responsibility.
Yeah, you do.
But I think we need to be serious about this, but Conor.
It's the sort of thing Hank would do.
Exactly. Irresponsible and not very well considered.
Basically, Hank to a T.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll bodge it then.
Bodge.
It's a bodge.
Okay, next up then, what have we got?
So this is from Scholar's Gate, 3D printed GoPro line mount.
Hack.
Yeah, that is nice.
Oh, actually, hang a minute.
Is that a cable tie?
Oh my God, there's two of them.
It's a fusion. It's a fusion of hot and cold.
Oh my God. So Scholar's Gate said, needed a way to mount my Lesign light to my out front mount. Yeah, I approve of that. Couldn't get hold of the official GoPro mount in time, so I designed and printed my own. Works flawlessly. Simultaneous delight and horror at the 3D printing use of zip ties. You can't say that it works flawlessly if you're relying on zip ties. Why don't you just zip tie it to your stem?
It's like having a pizza with a curry. It's just, two opposites.
Yeah, no, I'm really sorry, but
It's a bit too...
Yeah, I think
nearly. So close.
I'd
So
rather see
close.
electrical tape, because that looks neat at least.
I'd be worried it would bop off, although there are little kind of grooves for the cable ties to go onto. So that's kind of solved that problem.
Not happy about that. That's
Quite
a
clean,
bodge, isn't
bit
it?
clean looking.
That is an absolute bodge.
Yeah, I'm going to go bodge.
89%
hack.
of you lot said that was a hack. What are you thinking? It's not a hack if you've got to use zip ties as part of your 3D printing.
I'd go hack. I was secretly saying to the audience it was a hack behind your back. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness me. All right, okay.
Forgive me.
Fair play. All right, okay. Next up, we've got this one from Skimork 993. You have to hydrate. Keeping the cycling stoke going, borrowed from another site.
Love it. I love this.
There we go. Bolted a bottle cage onto a crutch. Is this for Lloydie, by any chance?
I don't know if that would take a beer bottle, would it? You'd like one of the ones with the base at the bottom.
All right, Dan would decant it into
a bidon.
into a lead
Yeah.
GCN bottle, wouldn't he? No, if you're unfortunate enough to end up on crutches, you got to keep the cycling stoke going as much as possible. So yeah, go on. That's a hack from me.
Yeah, that's hack from me. Definitely a hack.
Hack, and hack from 81% of you lot as well. So that's cool. Not a bad week then, apart from the disgusting use of zip ties.
Yeah, a few zip ties in there.
One or two. Right, keep them coming in, upload them to the GCN app. And remember, you don't have to wait until Tuesday's GCN show. You can go and flick through all the awesome hacks and bodges and vote on them ahead of next week's show as well. It's time now for Caption Competition, that part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a coveted GCN Elite water bottle. All you got to do is put a witty caption in the comment section down below that relates to a photo we will give you in just 1 second, but results, as always, first. This was the photo we gave you last week, which came from, I think it was a World Cup cyclocross race. The best caption we had in our humble opinions. It was from Dave Fordham 824. Congratulations, Dave. He said, absolute scenes as GCN's nominated for a Golden Globe.
Just swamped the place.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
I love it. It's a great one.
Tickled me.
Nice one, Dave.
Get in touch and we will send you a GCN Elite water bottle.
Right, and this week's caption competition with the photo. Big thanks to Basil Thornton Photography for this one, because it is an absolute gem. Absolute gem.
Seriously, are we being... That's going to be the caption photo.
That's the caption, yeah. That's it. Thanks, Basil. Appreciate it. Big cracker. And I think we're going to have some good suggestions on this one. I think there's going to be some good ones in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading them all. But of course, well, I guess I better go for
Well, I'm not saying anything. No way on earth am I going to say anything.
Oh, okay, don't throw your bottles at the pram. Okay, right, I think I'm going to go for... in the latest GCN how-to video on how to ride a cyclocross bike, Si shows you how to get over planks with massive ankles. I think that's good. I think that's my best one yet. I'm rubbish at these, but nailed it. Let us know in the comment section if you can do any better. I'm sure you can, and I'm really looking forward to reading these because they're going to be brilliant.
Oh, go on then.
Good
Do
on
your
Si.
best.
Good on Si
Do
for
your
the
best.
sport.
Comment of the week now, and we're going to start with some of the cracking comments you left under last week's GCN show. Lurk VA said, Si cannot stop with the Dan Lloyd jokes. No, I'm not. The man's laid up with a broken ankle. Give him a break.
Oh.
I don't know
Love
whether
it.
you intentionally said that, but if you did, hats off, because that is a perler of a terrible joke. So yeah, I like that.
Another one we loved from Strawhorn 1 is Si on his own because they couldn't fit his and Dan's ankles behind the desk together. Brilliant.
That's good. Right, and then an awful lot of comments about the left or right GCN Christmas socks. And this is, of course, available as part of the GCN Club. You get sent a pair of socks every month. But confusingly, this Christmas, one sock is green and one sock is this colour.
Red.
Well, okay, right. So
I was right on something.
last week, Michael Mekex said, watching Cy pondering about what colour is maroon with zero mentions of his perfectly maroon sweatshirt. It was the funniest thing I've seen this week. The sock is red. Maroon is the colour of the sweater you're wearing in this video. What I've done today is I've worn a bright red
It's trolling.
sweatshirt and then a maroon t-shirt. So, you ready for this? I'm a human Pantone.
Go on then.
What colour is the sock?
Well, see, it's red. Like, it's not as dark as the.
it's burgundy.
Burgundy.
Burgundy?
What's that? Isn't that a wine?
What?
Burgundy.
Burgundy. Okay, right. Well, let's move on then, shall we? The sock is either red.
Red or maroon.
Maroon
But no,
or
it's red.
burgundy.
It's red. Burgundy. But this is getting confusing now, really.
Well, right, okay,
very
right, let's move
confusing.
on.
Let's move on.
Under Retro TT Bike, Saturday's video, where we got our, frankly, quite sweaty little paws on Jan Ulrich's old TT bike. How cool is that, man?
That is cool.
Proper cool. Contact King said, Ollie riding and the garbage can blowing over in the wind behind him. Was that the weather or the wicked aero wind blast that he's created? Epic. I think we know, don't we? Given how fast Ollie's going at the minute.
Let's hand it to him.
Yeah, it was an epic aero wind blast that he's created.
He's even mastered Mother Nature.
Like a vortex.
He's not telling we told him that.
Like a one-person vortex tearing around the Cotswolds.
Use his chemistry skills just to whip something together. And...
Probably. Right, okay, go on, let's move on.
Moving.
Yeah.
We do have some cracking deals still in the GCN shop, though. If you want to buy a book,
Well, yes, actually.
buy one, get one half price.
Well, not just books, actually. Christmas generally, okay? So, for a limited time, I'm told, if you buy a selected Christmas gift, you'll get another half price, which even includes our newest books, such as Cycling Psychology with GCN's #1 wreath maker, Mark Beaumont. Next year, actually, Mark Beaumont, I've heard, is actually making a GCN book about how to make wreaths.
Yeah, wreath making.
Yeah,
it's
wreath
going to be a
making
big
with
one.
Mark Beaumont. And we'll also have a supporting video as well coming out next
how to
November. Yep. And then, of course, the Fan's Guide as well. Both of which actually would be cracking books to get this Christmas, wouldn't they?
Yeah, make great gifts. So get involved, take a look.
Yeah, buy one, get one half price, and then there's other gifts as well. So, and remember, if you're the one that wants the gift, you might need to leave some handy hints for your loved ones. You know,
Yeah.
what's the best way of hinting?
It's just, I don't know, what's the best way of hinting? Just share the webpage.
I think just be straight up. By the way, if you're wondering what to get me this Christmas, I really fancy getting a book from GCN. And did you know they've also got buy one half price? That's what I'd go for, basically.
My son just tells me, I want a helicopter.
We haven't got them in the GCN shop, unfortunately. Or at least not in the Christmas gift bit.
Could get a maroon one.
Burgundy. Right, okay. We're nearly at the end of the show now, but before we go, quick, I was about to say recap. It's not a recap, is it?
That's what's coming up.
What's coming
so
up?
Look ahead.
The opposite
to
of
the
a
future.
recap. Yeah, go on then, Conor, what's coming up?
So on Wednesday, we've got some tips on buying your first kids' bike, or if you're looking to buy a kids' bike for someone in your life. And on the subject of my son, he does make a bit of an appearance.
Oh, yeah?
So we caused a bit of carnage when we went through the different bikes that are available and had a bit of fun.
Nice.
So there might be some bloopers in that one.
Good stuff. Right, well, we'll look forward to that.
hopefully
Jesse
don't get in
makes
trouble.
his comeback to GCN. On Thursday, we've got a video about the world's best bike shop. So as nominated for by you, so looking forward to seeing which bike shops you've suggested. On Friday, Conor, this is like another of yours, fat bike versus monster bike.
Yeah, that's myself and Hank. We got a little bit carried away with the bike I used in Mongolia. So I brought a fat bike to Mongolia to get over all the terrain, which was pretty tough at times. If you want to see the film, it's available to watch now on GCN+. But I decided to put the fat bike up against the monster bike, the 36-inch wheel bike we built for another documentary a while back, and see, which one would come out on top. The results were really interesting. Myself and Hank had a lot of fun making this one.
The mind boggles, mate.
It was a great one, so if you get time, I hope you enjoy it.
All right, cool. Right, I look forward to watching that one. And then on Saturday is what happened when I rode the Masters World Cyclocross Championships. The bits other than just falling over a freaking barrier.
So you weren't just falling over the
I wasn't just falling over the whole time. But
We'll find out.
How hard is Masters racing and could I win a world title? That's what we're going to find out. And then on Sunday, it's an international GCN presenter challenge. So make sure you check out GCN on Sunday, basically.
Yeah, cracker of a weekend.
Racing up Sacalobra, all the GCN presenters, can they take the KOM?
I don't know where my invite was for that video. I don't know why I wasn't invited.
No, funny that, is it? No, my invite was lost somewhere
I feel
in
like
the
it really added to
Mediterranean.
the team.
Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Right, that is all for the GCN show for another week, Conor.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I will mainly be watching cyclocross videos, race replays on GCN Plus over the next week.
Yeah, the mountain and dismounting.
Well, yeah, I'll be
aspect of it.
looking at getting some tips, but mainly the season is on fire.
It is on fire,
at the minute.
And the big guns are involved.
Well,
They're
that's
firing.
it. Yeah, so the women's season has been great all season so far, but now the men's racing is in top gear as well, with Van der Poel and Van Aert and Pidcock all in the mix. So yeah, check it out.
And it's going to Dublin. So
Yes,
it's
that's
gonna be a
right.
cracker. Yeah, so check it out on GCN Plus.
Indeed.
Dublin, Cyclocross World Cup is coming to Ireland.
Right then, that's all for this week. Give the video a big thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and we will see you next week.